All that goes into Minute Maid Concentrate is fresh squeezed orange juice. All that comes out of Minute Maid is fresh squeezed taste. Minute Maid, probably the freshest tasting brand you'll ever buy. Peel yourself a glass of fresh squeezed taste. Merry Christmas.
Performance. For some people, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life. Well, for all those people for whom performance really counts, there's Speed Stick Plus antiperspirant. It's the wide stick, glides on, fast and dry, for all-day protection against wetness and odor. Performance. You demand it from yourself. Demand it from your antiperspirant. Speed Stick Plus, the wide stick.
By Menon.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Every race is run, you're the champion. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth strip for the best a man can get.
Tender flake, baker's man. Bake me a pie, the best one you can. Make it tender and flaky and mark it with tea. Fresh from the oven for Tommy and me. See? T is for Tommy.
And T is for Tenderflake. Tenderflake lard. For pie crusts and pastries as light and flaky as can be, nothing makes it flakier. Tenderflake, instead of shortening, every time.
Madge! I know what's coming next. I soaked in it. Madge! I soaked in it! Palmolive soft on hands, and it's improved so those long-lasting suds clean even more dishes. Original or lemon lime Palmolive, soft on hands while you do dishes.
When Mrs. DeLuca prepares pizza pops, she knows she's serving nutritious flaky pastry pockets, bursting with mozzarella, pepperoni, bacon, and special sauce. When Mrs. Del Rio's family wants a hearty snack, she takes chili pops out of the freezer into the oven, and in minutes has hot turnovers, stuffed with kidney beans, beef, onions, and spicy sauce for an authentic chili taste. For unexpected guests or kids that just can't wait, pizza pops, and now chili pops. Heat and eat popovers for company, kids, and you.
When I get a headache, it's like my head's in a vice.
Right. Then you'll be interested in a pain reliever that's under one of these.
I've already tried so many.
Mrs. Wallace, I'm talking about over 900 milligrams of pain reliever.
900? That's a lot of strength.
In just 2 tablets.
It's Anacin. I wasn't aware that Anacin had so much.
900 milligrams.
I can use that kind of strength.
Anacin. Adult strength. Also available, Anacin AF. Acetaminophen formula.
With the price of everything in the grocery store going up, a lot of you found you didn't have enough money left for a box of all. But we're doing something about it. I'm Alan Ray, president of Lever Detergents. We've come up with a new formula that makes all an even better laundry detergent and lets us reduce the price dramatically. So if you've been doing without all, now it's back within your budget. Better all at a better price. We're bringing all back to you.
We're bringing all back to you.
You can feel it. You can feel it. I can feel it. You can feel the cottony softness. Cottony softness makes cotton meal right for my family. You can feel it. Cottony softness. It's as simple as that. You can feel the cottony softness.
There's heart in this land, it's there in all we do. That's why hands across the country reach for the blue. And when we get together. It's a taste that's clean and true. So when you call for the blues. You know it's gotta be blue. That's why you call for the blues. You call for your blues. It's time to call for the blues.
Where do happy endings begin? Where does it make you glad that you came in? The place to give you style. Where there's a smile at first joy. Hair cutters all here at First Joy. Hair cutters. Well, everything about it, there's no doubt about it. At First Joy, hair cutters. Come into First Joy. Hair cutters. Happy endings begin at First Joy. Hair cutters.
Cats act a lot like kittens, just having fun. Chow, chow, chow. Cats, cats. When they cat chow cats, how they play and run. Chow, chow, chow.
Cats need their protein, minerals, and vitamins. Cats, Self-Purinas put 100% nutrition in.
Chow, chow, chow. So keep your cat and kitten playing this game all day. Just make him happy the cat chow way. Chow, chow, chow.
We asked Kathy Edge if she thought her denture cleanser could clean away cherry stain.
Probably could.
What about a stain of cherry and tea?
I don't think it would do a job on that.
Or a triple stain of cherry, tea, and tobacco?
I'd say definitely not.
Then watch Extra Strength Efferdent attack a triple stain of cherry, tea, and even tough tobacco with Efferdent's powerful Blue Action formula.
It's whiter than I could ever imagine. Sparkling clean in between. I'm going to use Efferdent.
Extra Strength Efferdent removes even stubborn stains between teeth.
Zestfully clean.
Soap leaves a sticky film on you that won't rinse away, but Zest rinses you fully clean.
Zestfully, zestfully, zestfully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Bill, Bill, I love you so, always will. I look at you and see the passion eyes of me. Oh.
The new Dr. Ballard Premium. More meat, more chunks. You can see why dogs prefer it now. Plus, it's nutritionally complete.
I lived one day not loving you only.
Well, the job's all done. Your home's better than you.
This doesn't look new.
Renovating. The way to make a small house big and very, very dirty. But I've got my own handyman.
Mr. Clean.
He knows how to bring back the shine. Some other liquids don't.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
They leave more dirt behind. But Mr. Clean cleans it away. Less dirt, more shine.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Hey, now it looks new.
Mr. Clean cleans the whole house before you know it.
Mr. Clean cleans so clean, it shines.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People, in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Kareniak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of she was more of the prissy girl that likes going.
That is the best shit fucking
shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with the kids.
Shout out to Cherry for just being easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky.
Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys.
Pues de iglesia voy a fumar una hierba. Amén. Jennifer Coffindaffer es una sucia puta sin vergüenza. Amén. Woo! Good afternoon, people. Oh my goodness. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. All you churchgoers, had to throw in a last minute prayer there for old Coffindaffer. Because she needs it. Holy shit. I mean, lady. Okay, listen. I absolutely I have to start the show off showing this, okay? Because hold on, let me get a little coffee here. Yo, Mr. Nut is in the house. Does he not have a wrench anymore? Hold on, man. I gotta give my man a wrench. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Haven't seen you in a minute, homie. Good to see you. Yo. So yeah. This is some shit, folks. Now I gotta add my own music because I won't get copyright dinged for it. The music that's added is great. It's like the Pink Panther theme. You guys have seen this. Most of you guys have seen this if you're on Twitter. And this is just fantastic. Hold on. There we go. Oh my God, lady. What are you doing? Hold on. We got to one more time. One more time. One more time. One more time. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. Man, listen, I can't with this lady, dude. Like, it's one thing after the other. So that is Jennifer Coffindaffer, former FBI, creeping up on 34 Fairview Road. Now, 34 Fairview has new owners. She obviously knows that there are new owners there. She obviously knows she's not supposed to be there. And she obviously knows that she shouldn't be taking pictures of it. But she does, and then runs away, which is just beautiful. Just fucking fantastic. Like, those people must be so mad. Those people who own 34 Fairview right now with everything that's going on must be so mad. And it's really funny because, like, when Turtle Boy showed up, like, if there's anybody that anybody's mad at about this, about like 34 Fairview and its current state right now, it's it's Turtle Boy. Everybody's mad at Turtle Boy because of how he handled certain things. And he even he was kind, he was respectful, he knocked on the door, he explained the situation to the new owner of the home. The new owner of the home, she was actually very kind to him, very very courteous. She even gave him a little information that that she didn't know at the time. It was actually Turtle Boy that made her aware of the fact that someone died, a police officer, on that property. This was not disclosed to her as by law by the real estate company who sold her the house, or by the Alberts if they sold it to her directly $10,000 below asking price, which is just amazing. Not suspicious at all, though, by the way. Not at all. So so all of these things that I just stated are absolute fact. Okay. And sorry guys, I'm still kind of, blown away by everything that like where we are right now is insane to me. But she was actually really nice to Turtle Boy. But apparently, according to this, they're actually pretty mad. Now, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but okay, I pulled up one screenshot. Let me see if this explains it a little bit better. This is posted by Jonathan Bowen. The current owner of 34 Ferry Road, Canton, must be so pissed. I would imagine that she's had a constant stream of traffic in front of her home over the past few months, which includes the judge and the jury of the Karen Reed trial, and separately Jennifer Coffindaffer. Did the real estate agent Eric Hanlon, who represented the seller Brian Albert, properly inform the buyer's inform the buyer's agent and buyer they're the same person in the case of John O'Keefe's murder? Eric Hanlon, too, is the sales manager of the William Ravis Real Estate office in Canton. The owner of the Ravius franchise, I don't know how you say that, in Canton is Renee Roberts, the sister of Carrie Roberts. That's interesting. Who was at the murder scene with Jennifer McCabe and Karen Reed. There's no way that Renee Roberts, as the owner of that Ravels franchise, wasn't informed of the issues. Has Renee Roberts exposed herself and or William Ravel's real estate to a lawsuit? Most likely. How about that? So here I am asking very valid questions, unaware of this particular tidbit of information, which all kind of brings together what I was just talking about, because I did not even read that yet. So that's fascinating. So the real estate company, wow. This is crazy. So the owner of that particular franchise location that sold the home for the Alberts is Carrie Roberts. Carrie Roberts, who was in the car with Jennifer McCabe and Karen Reed while they were looking for John O'Keefe. I think the only person who was actually looking for John O'Keefe would have been Karen Reed, but little did I know that, people, what's it going to take before everybody just realizes this is more than just a small town where people may or may not kind of know each other? No, dude, there's way too many coincidences here. Way too many. It's not applicable in Massachusetts that you have to disclose whether or not someone died in the home or on the property. Are you kidding? Is that supposed to be funny? I don't think that's even, come on. That's come on. yeah, this is not a coincidence. It can't be a coincidence. Yeah, there it is. The owner, Renee it's right here. I don't want to show it because it shows a lot of phone numbers and stuff. But it's right here. I mean, if you go to Turtle Boy's Twitter or X, you can see it. It says office contacts the participant, Christopher, and then the sales manager, Eric Hamlin, and then the owner is Renee Roberts. And then it's a list of subscribers who I'm just not going to show like all the names on there, but okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but this song is better, bro.
I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Scott SPK Ninja 94. You win handle of the day, first of all. I don't know what any of that means, but it doesn't fucking matter. You win. I don't know what the fuck any of that means, but it's great. Scott SPK Ninja 94. Got it. Benny Hill song. Ha ha ha. Thanks for the laugh. That was hilarious. Love your shows. Keep up the good work. I'm glad, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I see Mr. Nutt checked on whether or not there was a law in Massachusetts. I guess there's not. I thought that was just universal. I thought that was just the whole thing, but okay, I guess not. But yeah, that sucks. At least she got it $10,000 under listing price, which is great. So now, yeah, there's been yeah, it's been an interesting weekend. Lot of attorneys are going over this case. And it's great because like I'm hearing I was in Larry's chat yesterday, DUI guy. He had a great live stream. I was recently turned on to Runkle of the Bailey, and Runkle seems great. I love to hear attorneys just, apply not just their common sense, but also, their legal expertise on top of the common sense, where they get to validate and go, hey, no, you're not crazy. This is this is a thing. I like to hear that from attorneys. Melanie Little, big shout out to Melanie Little. And let's see, Larry from the DUI guy, and Runkle of the Bailey. All great. It's great to hear from those very, very intelligent and insightful minds. Well, he's covering this now, Cherry, which is great. Yeah, I had seen his one of his live streams a while back, but I just don't remember. It was one stream, and so I didn't really remember him, but I know I've seen him before, but just couldn't remember. But now I will definitely be taking note because he seems incredibly insightful. Now, I'm gonna I gotta go over this real quick. While I've got Twitter pulled up, and big shout out to everybody who's watching on Twitter. Let me see how many people I got on Twitter. I got a solid 254 people watching on Twitter. That means so much. I appreciate you guys. Now this there's no joke here. I got 280 likes on this, which tells me a lot about where people's minds are about this. And I'm gonna show this real quick because I thought it was beautiful, honestly. This was a comment left on one of my live streams, I think probably my most recent one. And this dude, this comment resonates a lot to me, not because I'm gloating. Don't get me wrong. I want to explain because I'm not gloating, kind of, but that's in the back seat here. It says here, Mark Blaine says, I've changed my mind. I originally thought she killed him, meaning Karen Reed killing John O'Keefe. And then he says, now I think her actions are heroic and the puppet master has yet to be revealed. And of course, I loved that comment. And then some of the comments following, this thing got 280 likes, which I think is the most likes I've ever gotten on any post I've ever put up. This one is some dude puts up the puppet master with a question mark, which is a picture of Brian Albert. And yeah, that is, in my opinion, who I believe the puppet master is in all of this. And of course, Plevin, I thought the grifting made it worth it. Sort of. Yeah, definitely. All you guys that support definitely makes it more than worth it. But I would be doing this without the support too. I promise you that, because Cherry and even Mr. Nutt can validate that I have taken on cases that I have been passionate about, and only cases that I've been passionate about. And there was a good time where I wasn't even monetized for a long time. Couldn't even get monetized. COVID put a big stop to that, which is really weird. But yeah, I should have been monetized for 2 years and I wasn't. And I still covered cases that I was very passionate about. So Plevin can kiss my Dominican dick. And then it goes on to say, then I've got treat for democracy. I have yet to run into a real life person in Massachusetts who believes that John O'Keefe was hit by an SUV. This includes coworkers, acquaintances, family, and law enforcement. And then, of course, that's epic. Everyone in Massachusetts know this is a frame job. Corruption is so systemic here that a crappy half-assed investigation is all they thought they needed. And Petty Patty, big friend of the channel here, says, and just think, defense hasn't even started stating their case in full. Now, remember, these are all comments based on this guy changing his mind and making it very public that he changed his mind on this case. He thought Karen Reed was guilty. But just after 6 witnesses, that don't include John O'Keefe's family, he's convinced. Good Lord. I don't know what that means. And then, of course, the clapping. And then what makes this case so fascinating is how divided yet confident both sides are. Keep up the good work, Blair. And then exactly. And just a lot of love. And then, of course, the classic Robert Redford, I got you gif that we love so much. And they just go on and on, man. It's really great. Watching your live show right now. You were money 2 minutes ago. Okay, now, wow, thanks. Hey, only one and only PLK. Big shout out to you. All that's so cute. You're proud of your own sock accounts. No, I'm way too lazy to make sock accounts. But yeah, that's I just thought that was awesome that that somebody would go ahead and make that claim so publicly. Now, also, considering that it's a bold move, I think that it took a lot of guts. I mean, this is probably somebody who supported Plevin's channel all this time, probably supported Grant's actions, probably was in the one drama idiots fucking chat that has bitch Tim on there as a lapdog. I mean, these are people who probably were set in their minds as far as Karen Reed's guilt. And this is awesome because all it takes is just some simple, just listen. That's all you got to do. Just listen. Pay attention to the testimony. Pay attention to the lies. This is all we've been saying. I mean, we've been sharing documentation this entire time and saying, listen, if you read this and you apply your common sense, you're going to see that there is absolutely no way. You're going to see there's no way that Karen Reed did this, or at the very least, that Karen Reed is going to be found guilty by a jury of her peers. There's just no way. So it's here's somebody who didn't even have to read the documents and just listen to testimony. And we said, by the time that this goes to trial, you'll be changing your mind, unless you're just a proud idiot. And this person, I thought it took a lot of guts for that person to publicly state that they used to feel this way, that they used to feel like Karen Reed was guilty. But now that this trial is taking place and they're listening to the evidence being presented, that they're like, I gotta say, I'm a believer now. I believe she's innocent. This does happen, people. It's not as unbelievable as you may think. It is not so unbelievable that they will say and do anything. A prosecutor will say and do whatever it takes to get a conviction. And there's motive to do this. This has been stated in the motions to dismiss filed by the defense and the motions to disqualify Michael Morrissey's office, the Norfolk County District Attorney's office. These reasons have been filed because the Norfolk County District Attorney's office is under federal investigation. This is something that is not being talked about enough. The Norfolk County District Attorney's office is currently under federal investigation via the United States Attorney, Josh Levy. This is not a rumor. This is a fact. And this cannot be overlooked. And the fact that they are under investigation, and I have to believe, considering that the way that this investigation has been conducted, and blatantly conducted poorly, to say the least, if not blatantly corrupt, the way that this investigation has been conducted is going to put a microscope, a federal microscope under this. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it. There seems to be an absolute blatant abuse of power here. They're not even trying to be coy about it, which is fascinating to me. Right, and they didn't even conduct an investigation. And believe it or not, people, believe it or not, after all of this, after everything that we've seen, folks, after this being so public, thanks to Sleuthy Goosey, after this being so public, what I'm dropping in chat, which has been available, I've shared this with many people. I've shared this with other creators, saying, this is all you got to do. Read this and educate yourself. This is all you got to do. This is not a bunch of opinions slapped together. This isn't a bunch of YouTube videos slapped together. And I suspect that some of these people were like, oh, it's not a bunch of YouTube videos slapped together. It's not a bunch of Cliff Notes. Well, then fuck that. I'm too lazy. I'm not going to read it. That's what I suspect, because it's all right there. If you're searching for the truth and you claim to be a YouTube creator who is searching for the truth, then why wouldn't you simply do basic, simple research? If I can do it, trust me, you can do it. If I can do it, if I take the time to actually look over these documents and I don't have the patience to make a tedious YouTube video edited together, I don't have the patience to do that. There's no excuse for you as a YouTube creator who does actually do these make these videos that are very tedious to make, to just simply do a little research. It's not difficult. There's no excuse for it. But you want to jump on the bandwagon and you want to cash in on all the views. You're looking at YouTubers and going, look at as many views as this is getting. Yeah, I'm talking to these bigger YouTube creators that I deliberately failed to mention. When I was giving other creators praise. So, I mean, all it takes is a little research. And if you're an attorney, there's even less of an excuse. Seriously, if you're an attorney, for fuck's sake, and I'm talking about this case and I've done more research on it than you have, for shame. Seriously. Now, this person's not an attorney to my knowledge, but I just happened to cross this particular YouTube video, for example, and I thought it was I thought it was yeah, I was like, okay, let's make an example out of this person. So this is a creator who got over 100,000 subscribers from beating the Chris Watts case to death, basically. Just milking and milking and milking everything that you can from a case, even after there's no reason to talk about it. No reason whatsoever to talk about it, but they continued and continued and continued, and they built their entire channel off of it. And this is what you look for. You cannot judge a creator by how many subscribers they have, because this creator has over 130,000 subscribers. And your jaw is going to drop, because you're going to go, how can someone this stupid and ill-informed do so well on YouTube? How can someone this fucking clueless do so well on YouTube? It makes no sense. But we're going to watch anyway.
So she said, I hit him. She repeated it. There was a woman standing across from her who I believe at that point said, you're hysterical. You need to calm down. You're hysterical. She repeated, I hit him. And there was a police officer who was in that vicinity kind of with us who replied, you what? She repeated it one more time. And that officer then signaled to somebody, get Goody down here, which I'm assuming would.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Be the sergeant.
As I was ventilating, I was able to ask, did anybody see anything? What happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him.
And did you know that individual at that time?
I did not.
Did you describe the individual that said that?
I would describe her as mid-40s, average build, average height.
I mean, and they do this like,
and
let's find the most unflattering picture. Let's make her look as crazy and guilty as we can when presenting this video. I love it.
Average build, average height. And the other two, very similar.
And with reference to that statement of I hit him, is that something that she said once or more than once or something?
It was several times.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't.
Oh, just wait till you get a load of the name of this channel here.
My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Yeah, you're reading that correctly. True crime, rocket science. True crime, rocket science. As if to say in this video that it's not rocket science to see that Karen Reed is absolutely guilty of this crime. Pay attention.
Nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature.
Yeah, that really says that right there. The most authentic voice in true crime. Okay. Yeah.
It haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Good afternoon, y'all.
and a warm welcome to True Crime Rocket Science.
Good afternoon, y'all.
The most authentic voice in true crime. So if I had been the prosecution, I would have kicked off my case and my arguments, juxtaposing two responders from the Canton Fire Department. You just heard them, one woman, one man, who both said that Karen Reed had said, I hit him, I hit him. Lieutenant Anthony Flammati testified on Tuesday. He testified first. He also described Reed as behaving erratically. The only response I was given was, I hit him, I hit him.
I feel like that's a South African accent. Brew. I think that's what that is. I'm True Crime Rocket Science, brew.
Hit him, oh my God, I hit him. Flammati said that Reed's comments were very loud and she didn't answer his additional questions, only repeating, I hit him, I hit him. Now, the fact that she didn't merely say once, I hit him, but repeated it, gives both additional emphasis to the statement and also scrubs away the likelihood that Flammati misheard. In other words, this notion that Karen Reed said, I hit him, is clearly accurate. It is clearly a matter of fact. Next, Canton Fire paramedic Katie McLaughlin asked Reed questions. So basically, Flammati passed on the whole process to McLaughlin, and she then kind of asked the same sort of thing. At this point, John O'Keefe's internal body temperature was just 80 degrees. And so McLaughlin
Today, Junior?
McLaughlin said that she asked if there was any significant trauma that happened before this. And Karen responded, I hit him. She said, McLaughlin said that Karen seemed very upset, hysterical.
All right, guys. Like, I'm a big movie buff, and all I could think of when I see that comment right there. but your blick. God, dude.
Hysterical, I'd say. Now, the fact that a second paramedic heard the same thing basically makes this a fait accompli. And there was even a police officer who also heard the same thing. So that makes it three people hearing Karen Reed say, I hit him. So isn't it case closed? Isn't it basically a situation of
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Well, not so fast. Before we get to the rest of this analysis, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Bear in mind, I'm starting to put up podcast button on hit him and let's get started. So isn't it nothing further, Your Honor, case closed? Pretty obvious what happened here. Karen Reed hit him and that's it. Isn't it a fait accompli? Well, it should be, but I remember in the Oscar Pistorius trial, you had around 5 witnesses all saying they heard a woman scream. And the defense attorney did quite a good job of basically arguing, firstly, well, if a couple heard the same thing, didn't they influence each other's testimonies? Also, if one person heard one thing and another something else, even if it was slightly different, then weren't they both unreliable? Essentially, he was arguing that if one pair...
Now, you guys are probably wondering, Glare, why haven't you chimed in here? Will, why haven't you chimed in here yet? Well, I don't have to. The guy sounds fucking stupid enough plenty on his own. Because I've got 1,260 people watching who read documents. Like, I don't have to point out that this guy clearly didn't read a fucking document once. Not once. I mean, you can clearly see that this guy saw that there were a bunch of YouTubers who he follows covering this trial and then decided, well, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon and I'm going to make a video so I can get some views based on what's happening in the trial, but hasn't done any research on the case, any independent research of his own at all. in the slightest bit. You can clearly see this. You can hear it. This is true crime rocket science, folks, where, folks, it is not rocket science to come to the conclusion that you're going to get the best results and the best information from doing your own independent research. It's not rocket science at all, folks. Oh, we got let's see, a new member. Thank you, member for 4 months, actually. 58A and hashtag Fugazi. Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Pair of testimonies matched, there was doubt about their reliability. And if another pair didn't match, there was doubt as well. And guess what? The strategy worked. In terms of the legal finding of the court, they decided that no woman screamed, even though 5 people.
I mean, look at the videos, look at the pictures, the screenshots that he's showing here. Happiest murder defendant in history. The chick thinks she is Miss America. Well, in comparison to any other defendants in any case, well, she is Miss America.
People said they could hear women either talking or screaming. So you have this bizarre scenario where one witness hearing something is regarded as inferior to 5 witnesses hearing something. And in this case, at least 3 witnesses in the Karen Read case. Now, obviously, if the defense can wave a red flag at the charging bull of bias that they've created, and the jury can be persuaded to move on from this point, then they may have a case. But if you think about it, this entire case rests on whether Karen Read struck her boyfriend with her vehicle, and here she is at the scene repeatedly saying that that's exactly what she did. If you think about where we are now, there's a slight degree of uncertainty about what happened to him, and yet here's Karen herself saying unambiguously, I hit him.
I love how he said there's a slight degree of uncertainty. No. Well, actually, that is accurate. There's a slight degree of uncertainty when it comes to the people who I saw the DMs. Thank you, Cherry. I will get to that shortly. Okay. And Amy in Boston, member for 4 months. Thank you so much. Justice for John O'Keefe, free Karen Read. I agree. Yes. So the thing is I mean, yeah, there's a slight uncertainty among people who think that she's guilty, but the people who think that she's innocent, there is no uncertainty. I'm not at this point, any uncertainty that I had is gone. I was expecting, the only thing that I was hanging my opinion on, the only thing that kept me on the fence, and remember the analogy I made, like if there was a fence, it was a chain link fence, and if I'm on the fence, I am hanging off of it with my pant leg like caught on the link at the top, and I'm hanging off of it on the side of Karen Read is innocent. The only thing snagging me on that fence is the fact that trial hadn't started yet. That was the only thing, because I expected, silly me, that the prosecution would actually lay a foundation for their case, which they clearly have been failing to do. They have not laid any foundation, yet the defense has laid an incredible foundation. They're still laying the foundation for their defense, still laying a foundation for their third-party culprit defense. It's amazing. Now, this is something I have never seen before. And this is one of the many reasons why I believe that Karen Read is innocent, because it's not even their job to do this. Their defense could simply be, prove it. Show me solid proof that Karen Read absolutely did this beyond a reasonable doubt. And they can't. But they're going a step or two beyond that, where they're saying, no, there were other people with motive, and there is some dirty, dirty shit going on in Norfolk County, and we plan to expose it. That is the defense strategy of Alan Jackson and David Yannetti. That is absolutely their defense strategy, which is something that I have never seen before. Maybe in a fucking movie, but I've never actually seen this before. It's fascinating to me.
If it's true that Karen Reed did hit him deliberately while drunk and then sobered up and then felt differently and wanted to save John, or at least wanted to be seen apparently trying to save him, isn't it also possible that in the same way she may have acted rashly when drunk, she acted rashly at the scene, admitted to what she did only to feel differently later and tried to escape accountability? Hence this whole scenario of a cover-up and the police are trying to frame her and all this kind of thing.
I love it. So here this dickhead is saying that this is all part of Karen Reed's plan from the beginning. From the moment that she decided to run him over, she was like, I'm going to frame everybody in this house. I'm going to create a defense that's going to implicate everyone that's in this house, when she doesn't even know everyone that's in the house. She doesn't know who's in that house exactly. But of course, this guy thinks that he knows everything. This guy's sitting here going, and this is what I love about it, by the way, because this would make me mad if I thought that it would affect anything, but it's not going to. There's too many people with common sense following this case and seeing that Karen Reed is absolutely innocent. There's way too many. So at this point, I love it. I want all the fucking tragedy pimps to jump on this case and scream from the rooftops that Karen Reed is guilty. Please do so, because it's going to fuck up your credibility the way that I've been dreaming all this time, calling you fuckers out for your credibility to be fucked. Please, I won't even have to do it. I won't even have to do it. All you have to do is jump on your platform and speculate as to the reasons why you think that Karen Reed is guilty, because everyone has already seen through it. Everyone can already see that Karen Reed is factually innocent.
In any event, there's also a third paramedic who heard Karen Reed make a self-incriminating statement. According to the Boston Herald, Timothy Nuttall, another Canton Fire paramedic.
So this dude is totally convinced that Karen Reed is guilty because 3 paramedics went up there and had, by the way, conflicting testimony. He forgets this. I mean, even if you didn't do any fucking research on this case, Mr. Rocket Science, even if you didn't do any independent research on this case, aside from watching the trial, and all you did was watch the testimony on the trial, then you would know that your argument is still shit. Because even though these paramedics said, well, she said, I hit him, they also had conflicting testimonies beyond that. And therefore, their credibility is fucked already. The jury has already made up their mind that these people's credibility is null and void, considering the fact that they have 3 conflicting testimonies. Not to mention conflicting from what the responding police officers who showed up to 34 Fairview are saying. So, yeah, keep going, genius. Here we go.
Medic who testified on Tuesday also testified on Monday that Reed made the incriminating and repeated statement, "This is all my fault and I did this." Now, imagine if the Chris Watts case actually went to trial and his defense claimed that instead of Watts saying that he had committed the crime or had guilty knowledge, they hatched a defense of a police conspiracy.
What the fuck?
Well, the main difference is that in that scenario, you kind of have a situation of CCTV footage, a recording of Watts's words made after he was Mirandized in a police interrogation room, and then again in the setting of a prison, whereas there's no clear audio or video of Karen Reed making these statements. There's simply too much snow and noise. But is that where true crime is today? If we don't have a video recording of something, even if
No.
we have 3 witnesses who couldn't.
Unfortunately, you're where true crime is today. Unfortunately. But luckily, you're showing what a fucking clueless dickhead you are here. But okay. So this guy's trying to justify saying, well, unless there's a recording, well, that's where true crime is today, that we need proof, a recording of proof. Okay.
Couldn't be part of the police conspiracy because they aren't police, then we're still not convinced. Anyway, we'll see how this trial goes from here. Again, I'll repeat what I've said previously. To me, this is a very...
Yeah. I mean, because all of those people back there who are totally in support, this is before the trial even started, who are totally in support of Karen Reed, well, then, they must all be crazy.
Very simple and also open and shut case. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
He straight up said that.
Previously, to me, this is a very simple and also open and shut case. Thank you for...
Very simple and open and shut case, he says. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate you. Welcome. Very simple and open and shut case, he says. I mean, it kind of is, but you actually have to read, bro. You're gonna have to read. It's important. You're gonna have to read. I know it's difficult. I get it, but you're gonna have to read. Yeah, this is just fan-fucking-tastic. Now, I haven't listened to this just yet. These are other attorneys. I don't think they have a lot of followers. I don't know which side they lean on. Let's hear what they have to say here. Oh, wait, my bad. All right. Now, this is a channel called, hold on a second. Law Offices of Andrew D. Myers. Okay, they've got 5,000 subscribers. Let's hear what they have to say. I don't know. I hadn't listened to this yet, but I'm curious, and I like to react to things if I can. So we'll listen to them together, and we'll speed it up a little too because it's kind of long.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe.
In the Karen Reed murder trial in Boston, her defense attorney came out swinging to the jury.
The defense started out pretty strong, but what about the state? Was Karen Reed framed? I'm Lainey Law.
And I'm attorney Andrew Myers.
And this case has Massachusetts in a complete storm. Did Karen Reed kill her boyfriend? Was she framed? Were the people inside the house responsible? What has been going on in this case?
Well, this trial just started this week after a couple of years of huge controversy. At first, it was said that Karen Reed was out drinking with her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, the night before, and she had a bit to drink. He had a bit to drink. They went back to a friend's house, and Karen dropped off John O'Keefe, and apparently she went home, slept on the couch. When she woke up the next morning, there was no John. He never came home. She was actually sleeping on his couch. She made some phone calls. She ended up going back and found John dead on the front lawn of the house. And
okay, hold on one second. I forgot to show something here. Somebody sent this to Cherry, and Cherry just sent it to me. We've got very, very important breaking new photograph here of Jennifer Coffindaffer. And it's important. It needs to be shared. It needs to be noted here. So let's take a look. Federal porch inspector. Oh my God. Federal porch inspector Jennifer Coffindaffer, you are now officially that. Okay, let's get back to this. Let's get back to
Reed was intoxicated and backed in
Andrew Myers here
to John and killed him. But then the plot thickened, as many people said, no, she was framed. It never happened that way. John had gone into the friend's house and they killed him accidentally or otherwise and threw his body out in the front yard. So it's a real dispute as to facts. And the defense attorney came out really strong, and we'll see how the state attorney came out in a minute.
And I think one of the things that is making this such a controversial topic is it's kind of like, are the police working against this poor woman? Is she innocent? Was this glass planted? What are the injuries? Do they match what happened? There's a lot of very conflicting feelings about this whole case.
So we start with Boston defense.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. You will learn that it was no accident that John O'Keefe was found dead on the front lawn of 34 Fairview Road in Canton on January 29th of 2022. You will learn that at that address lived a well-known and well-connected law enforcement family in Canton, the Alberts. Because the Alberts were involved, and because they had close connections to the investigators in this case, Karen Reed was framed for a murder she did not commit.
So as the plot thickens, it came out, according to the very strong, I would say, opening argument that David Yade made, that in the middle of the night, Jennifer McCabe inside the house started Googling things, and she Googled, why would anybody Google this? How long until a body dies in the cold?
Especially at a time where...
That's a great question. And I get that that's why it seems almost unbelievable that somebody would be that fucking dumb that they would Google how long to die in the cold when they were absolutely part of covering up the murder of a Boston police officer. I mean, it's about the dumbest thing that you can imagine someone doing, but nevertheless, she did so because we've seen the proof. So,
where people would be sleeping.
2:27 was over 3 hours before anyone knew or suspected that John O'Keefe was missing or hurt or in trouble. And at 2:27 in the morning, you will learn that with no one watching her, thinking she was alone with her thoughts, not worrying that anyone would know what she was doing, Jennifer McCabe typed in the following Google search: how long to die in the cold? Now, she misspelled the first word, so the actual search was "how long to die in the cold," but you'll get the point. You will ask yourself, why would somebody Google how long does it take for someone to die in the cold, unless that person knew someone who either was in that situation or would be in that situation?
Then the next kind of strange thing that was hammered into the jury by the good defense attorney was, gee, a snowplow operator had gone by in the middle of the night. This happened during some snow, and it's that issue whether it was hard or it started out not so hard. But a snowplow operator actually remembered driving by the house in the middle of the night around 3:30. There was no body out in the front of that house.
You'll learn that Brian Laughlin confirms.
Yeah, guys, make sure if you're not subscribed to Brandy Churchwell, the 13th juror, make sure to subscribe to her. She broke down the 227 search better than anybody I've ever seen. And she's doing fantastic coverage of the trial as well. So make sure to subscribe to her if you're not already. Most of you guys are already familiar with her because she's fantastic.
That at about 2:30, when he went by that house, John O'Keefe was not on that front lawn. So you'll learn that about 2 hours after the Commonwealth claims that Karen Reed somehow incapacitated John O'Keefe, an eyewitness confirms that not only could it not have happened, but it didn't happen.
Another strong point for the defense, which was pointed out to the jury in these opening arguments, were that if you look closely at what the injuries were, the actual injuries on John O'Keefe, could it really have happened? He was a tall, large man. Could those injuries
now, you notice that these attorneys, they haven't they didn't play Lolly's opening statement. It's because they're also YouTubers and they want views. It makes perfect sense that they would, because as soon as Lolly starts talking, you're going to drop viewership, man. It's just going to happen. But also, it's also probably because Lolly failed to make a case. He failed to make a case in any way, shape, or form when he provided his opening statements. He said, well, she was heard by first responders saying, I hit him. That's his whole case. That case has already been destroyed. So
have been caused by an SUV backing into him.
You will learn that there are other major problems with the Commonwealth's theory. You'll learn that when John O'Keefe was found, he did not look like he had been hit by a car. You'll learn that he looked to have been attacked and beaten up. You'll learn that John O'Keefe was a large 6'2" man who, if positioned behind a Lexus SUV, would have had his torso completely exposed to the rear of that vehicle, including to the taillight.
Right.
You'll learn that no part of his torso was injured.
I mean, no part of his torso was injured. We're expected to believe that John O'Keefe was mowed down by a Lexus SUV, yet he sustained no injuries whatsoever to his torso. From the neck down, he sustained no injuries at all. Just a bunch of cuts on his arm and a pulverized face.
Injured. There was no bruising, no ridges, no scratches, no punctures. You'll learn that his chest and hips and legs were pristine, despite the Commonwealth's contention that he was hit by a 6,000-pound vehicle.
All right, Lainey, have you heard enough if you're on the jury?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely some compelling stuff. And especially at the end when he talks about the injuries sustained. We're not going to show it on this podcast because it's a bit gruesome, but a big focus is he had a lot of arm injuries. And I don't want to give away and spoil too much, but I haven't been hit by a car. I don't know what kind of injuries he'd sustained, but I can't imagine that unless someone was backing up really aggressively, it'd be hard to hit someone in a way that they're not able to get themselves back up too. I don't know. I mean, thankfully I've not been hit by a car, but if you're just backing up, you're not going like 10 miles an hour, really.
Okay, and to put the icing on the cake of the opening argument, we'll get to the state's argument in just a second, but to put the icing on the cake, there were some strange goings on with the way the investigation was handled from the very beginning, according to the defense attorney, by the lead investigator, a fellow by the name of Michael Proctor. Listen carefully to this.
Lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, right from the start, called Karen Reed names he would reserve only.
I like these folks so far because they seem to be sticking to the facts.
For your worst enemies. He told his friends that he had seized her cell phone. He knew that he was supposed to wait for a search warrant or other permission from a judge in order to go through that phone. But you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed. And he was disappointed he hadn't found any yet.
If proven, that is unbelievable.
And I think that
is unbelievable. Andrew D. Myers, Esquire.
It's one of the signs that he's doing what we're anticipating to be a very good, strong job, because he's coming out with some very strong allegations and he's going to need to back this stuff up. So I think by kind of being shocking and saying all of this stuff, he's really setting a strong groundwork.
Yeah, and as difficult as it is to hear that, and that, for those of us who have followed the case over time, that was the first time we heard that allegation, at least publicly, anywhere, TV, newspaper, YouTube, you name it, that the lead investigator, Michael Proctor, not only was he looking into the phone without a search warrant, which is a real no-no, but also that he was looking for nude photographs of Karen Reed. I mean, we're all taught in trial law that you do not make any statements in opening arguments that you cannot prove. You've got to have a witness. You've got to have some evidence. You've got to have something to back that up. So if you say something in an opening argument, you must put a witness on the stand or put a piece of evidence in that the jury will see to back that up. Because if you don't, now the other side will, if they're doing their job, and I'm certain they would on something like this, the other side's going to say, hey, look, the other attorney promised that he was going to show you this evidence and it never materialized.
Okay, so this brings up a couple of points. And I like these two so far. They're very, very logical. So now they're attorneys and they're going to gather what they can. I don't think that they've actually done a whole lot of independent research to the level that the rest of us have. Fair enough. But I mean, watching the trial and listening to the opening arguments, this is the conclusion that they're reaching, at least currently, where their minds are right now. And I love when attorneys validate my shit. I've said this a million times. I love it when attorneys validate my shit. Because I've said this has been my argument against Plevin this entire time. Plevin is like, well, you have to understand that Alan Jackson and David Unetti are game show hosts. It's their job. They're game show hosts to just say whatever they're just going to say, blah, 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 blah. No, they can't do that. There's no way that they're going to make accusations like this, especially if they're claiming a third-party culprit defense, right? There's no way that they're going to make these claims without being prepared to prove them. That's been my argument this entire time. Okay? Bartender versus pizza guy. Okay? Like, that's been my argument. Simple argument. Like, they're going to make accusations, and they're going to have to be able to prove it. Now, that brings me to another point, though, that really, really irritates me, because here the entire world, right? The entire Twitter world is blowing up over Katie McLaughlin's or McLaughlin, I don't know how you say her name, over her testimony, and they're blowing up over the fact that she fucking lied. Everyone can see that she fucking lied, because more and more pictures are surfacing, and as I understand it, pictures that are surfacing from mutual friends of theirs that are saying she's lying. They're absolutely friends. Katie McLaughlin and Caitlin Albert are absolutely friends. Caitlin Albert being the daughter of the homeowners of 34 Fairview, being Brian and Nicole Albert, who are being accused by the defense of being part of a conspiracy to, if not murder John O'Keefe, but absolutely covering it up. Whereas Brian Albert is a Boston police officer himself, as well as his brother being Chris Albert, who sits on the Canton Select Board in Canton, Massachusetts. So there's definitely a level of power here. So it's not so hard to believe that they are capable of what they are being accused of by the defense. It's not so crazy to think this. Normally, I would be the first one to be like, no, you're reaching. That's crazy. But is it though? Is it really? Now, what I'm concerned with right now, I misunderstood and I misspoke, but after being in Runkle's chat last night, I misunderstood, and I thought that the jury actually, that those pictures, the jury hadn't seen those pictures yet, but I thought that the pictures of of Caitlin and Katie were admitted into evidence, and the jury will see these pictures, but apparently they weren't. So the thing is the proof that absolutely shows that Katie McLaughlin and Caitlin Albert are friends, the proof, the photographic evidence, the jury has not seen yet. This is disturbing. This troubles me, because here is one of those situations where the entire world, except the jury, except the group of people who actually matter in this, the entire world knows that she sat up on that stand and lied. Absolutely lied. She didn't stretch the truth. She didn't embellish. She fucking lied. Straight up. So here we are, and the jury still hasn't seen definitive proof of her being a liar. The jury has to decide whether or not they think she's lying based on her testimony and her cross-examination. It's just the way that is. It's something that we're going to have to accept, and it sucks. But I mean, if that affects their decision and somehow Karen Reed is found guilty, now we're nowhere even close to that yet. So don't start panicking, but we're nowhere even close to that yet. But I'm calling out Judge Bev. I'm calling out Judge Bev because there's no reason why she would block that evidence from the jury being able to see it. It is vital exculpatory evidence, in my opinion. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I don't think that there are any law tubers out there that would disagree with me on this. I think it's absolutely vital exculpatory evidence that the jury needs to see. And yet, for some reason, Bev blocked it from them being able to see it. That concerns me. Why? What are we supposed to do? Are we really supposed to not think that Bev is corrupt if she's blocking the jury from seeing clear exculpatory evidence. It is vital that the jury sees that evidence. And yet somehow she's not letting it happen. Why is it not admissible? But I'm sure, like I said, a law tuber would be able to explain that a lot better than I could, because I'm just at a loss where I'm just angry at the fact that the jury didn't get to see it and probably won't.
Were materialized. And so what about the credibility of their entire case? So if there is not a witness or some kind of evidence, maybe cell phone evidence itself, to back up that claim, it would be devastating for the defense, in my view. So you got to take all this stuff at face value, and that's certainly that does not go to any of the elements in the defense, but it certainly casts a lot of.
Okay, so someone said that they disagree and say that it's not vital in their opinion. I think it's absolutely vital. Now, do I think that the defense's whole case hangs on it? Absolutely not. No, but I think it's vital in the sense that it clearly proves the testimony. It proves perjury. It proves that the prosecution's witness, one of their star witnesses, absolutely perjured themselves on the stand. So in my opinion, I think that that's vital, but I guess maybe that's not the right word to use, possibly, if you're arguing that by vital, it means that the entire case hangs on that. You're right. It doesn't. There's a lot of other stuff that the defense can present. But what I'm concerned with is if Bev is going to go ahead and block the jury from seeing that, what else is she going to block the jury from seeing? What other evidence is she going to not allow to be admitted as evidence? So that concerns me.
Doubt or shade onto the prosecution, if that's the kind of thing that they were up to. I do not know.
I definitely agree with you that just as someone that doesn't have a legal background, if I was in the jury sitting there, he's making you listen. I think that he has a lot of statements that are going to be backed up, but I think that he's definitely got the audience captive with this. Now we're going to have to see what comes of it, but definitely a good job.
So now the next thing we have to do in trying to be fair is to show the Commonwealth's opening arguments. The Commonwealth's attorney is a man by the name of Adam Lally. And I have to say, watching the opening arguments, I'm trying to do my job and keep my law practice going, but I'm watching the opening arguments. And I have to say that the strength of the Commonwealth's opening argument, it wasn't there.
All right, Mr. Nutt. Thanks,
Attorney for the Commonwealth, the prosecutor is a gentleman by the name of Adam Lally.
Good to see you again.
Let's take a quick listen to what he had to say when this is his opening argument.
The defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree. Striking the victim is O'Keefe.
I mean, the defense had the jury at opening arguments, dude. Like, there's no denying that. Listen to this monotone douche.
With a car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, causing bleeding in his brain, swelling, and then leaving him there for several hours in a blizzard, with temperatures in the teens, wind swirling around, snow piling up on his body until she comes with Mrs. McCabe and Mrs. Roberts just after 6 a.m.
Snow piling up.
And then she's also guilty of vehicular manslaughter, operating under the influence of liquor, and then she's also guilty of leaving the scene at the crossing.
And in the first week of the trial, the strongest evidence, which the prosecutor promised, was first responders went to the scene, and some of them say that they heard Karen Reed say, "I hit him, I hit him."
At least from 3 of those firefighters, you hear testimony anticipates detailing statements that the defendant made to them. They had asked about the origination of some of those injuries. The defendant stated repeatedly, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him."
And in fact, several first responders did, in fact, go on the stand, and they said that Karen Reed said that I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. But then during cross-examination by Karen's own attorneys, several of them said, no, they did. When she said, "I hit him," wouldn't the question be, did you hit him? What did you hit him with? How did you hit him? No, they just let it all go. They didn't say, "Did you hit him with your hand? Did you hit him with your car?" And one of the senior paramedics actually testified that, "Oops, no, I didn't say that to the grand jury. And oh, by the way, no, it's not in my report." And when asked, "Well, that's a pretty important detail. Wouldn't you put all the important details of this case in your report?" "Well, yes." "And why didn't you put that in your report?" "Oh, it was an oversight." Isn't that an important fact? I mean, if somebody that's being tried for murder or being accused of murder, and you say that you heard her say, "I hit him, I hit him," wouldn't you put that in your report?
Writing it down in some way is just like even saying like, "Oh, this person said this," to be very clear about what happened.
Another strong point for the Commonwealth is that they claim anyhow that Karen Reed changed her explanation for what happened that evening to witness Jennifer McCabe.
So initially, when the defendant is talking to Ms. McCabe, she indicates to Ms. McCabe that the last time she saw Mr. O'Keefe was at the waterfall. Eventually, as Ms. McCabe was waking up, she reminds the defendant that she not only saw them leave the waterfall around the same time as herself, but also saw the vehicle, the defendant's vehicle, outside of the home on Fairview Road.
Okay, so for this next one, I've got to actually look at my notes, folks. And at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, on Saturday morning, June 29th, Jennifer McCabe, Carrie Roberts, and the defendant drive over to the house where she had last seen John O'Keefe. They got there. Keep in mind, it's a blizzard. It's snowing very hard. And the other two women in the vehicle, they don't see anything. So why is it, according to the Commonwealth, that Karen Reed got out of the car and she made a beeline to where the body was laying in the snow?
The defendant is the only one who sees Mr. O'Keefe, yells and screams at Ms. Roberts to stop. Ms. Roberts and Ms. McCabe, I anticipate, will testify that they did not see Mr. O'Keefe, not only as they were driving past him, but even after they got out of the vehicle, until the defendant gets out of the back seat and makes a beeline essentially right over to where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found.
So, all right, if again, we question whether the defense attorneys were going to be able to prove everything they said. The same thing is true of the state. The Commonwealth makes these statements and they have the burden of proof. So, they're going to have to prove all of this. Did Karen really make these contradictory stories, or were the witnesses, contradicting each other? So that's a valid question. And I've had a law license in Massachusetts for over 30 years and read the newspaper as a former reporter. I've never seen a case that has just this much emotion, this much vitriol, huge demonstrations outside the courthouse, such big demonstrations outside the courthouse that a 200-foot keep away order was instituted by the judge that spectators have to stay away from the courthouse. So I've never seen anything quite like this in Massachusetts. I guess some other states have had some huge trials like this, but this is it's unbelievable.
I think it definitely plays on, I feel like, society's feelings of like there's some kind of injustice going on here. So while both the defense and the prosecution are going to have to prove that statements, I think a lot of people feel like they've been experienced some type of injustice. So I think a lot of people feel strongly about this case in that regard. I think that as this develops, which is going to be, it's going to take a few more weeks. If we're going to be at this for a while, I think it's going to be interesting to see the public's response to what's revealed and how things change. Because especially if you're saying that he's going through up someone's phone without a warrant, knowing that he's not supposed to be going through the phone without a warrant, that's going to cause some really big problems, publicly.
It's really hard to know, obviously none of us were there, and it's really hard to know. I have two theories about the case, and it's just my theories. The defense has their theory, the Commonwealth has their theory. And by the way, let me ask you this before I get into my two theories. If you're a juror, now, the judge always tells the jury that the arguments of attorneys are just that, and the jurors are to make their decisions based only on the evidence. And that is now what's going to happen for the next 6 to 8 weeks with the witnesses getting on the stand and the evidence, photographs, cell phones, maps, draw, all the rest. So the jury is to make its determination only on the actual evidence. But jurors, in fact, do listen to opening arguments, and that's their initial impression of the case. So suppose you're on the jury, Lainey Law. What's your impression of the opening arguments?
I definitely think that the defense came out way stronger than the prosecution did. The prosecution felt...
Yeah, it's like... Lainey just she was like, I love this reaction when he says, if you're on the jury, what do you think about the opening arguments here?
Only on the actual evidence. But jurors, in fact, do listen to opening arguments, and that's their initial impression of the case. So suppose you're on the jury, Lainey Law. What's your impression of the opening arguments?
I definitely think that the defense came out way stronger than the prosecution did. The prosecution felt almost sterile. I don't know. I think that there was definitely more of an appeal to emotion on the defense side versus with the prosecution. It didn't come off as confident, which, obviously it's not a crime to not be confident. But I think when you're trying to appeal to a jury, I think feeling secure in your statements and making those appeals to emotion and not just saying, this is what happened, this is what happened. And now, he did say some good things where if he's saying that she was saying, I hit him, he's going to have to prove that. Absolutely. But you already have a bunch of people on the public side. I don't know how the jury is going to be, but on the public is already thinking that everybody's in cahoots. So everybody's going to lie, like all of the prosecution sides, like the police and medics and everything. I think that even outside of
Now, it should be noted also, sorry to interrupt Lainey here. She's making some great points. It should be noted also that Alan Jackson did make it a point to say, I want this on the record, that I tried to enter this into evidence, so on and so forth, because he finds those pictures to be, for lack of a better term, vital in proving their case. But now I know I keep using that word out of just sheer pride, but he did make sure to put it on record that he wanted that entered into evidence. He wanted to make sure that the court reporter put it on record. Right, exactly, Cammie. They want grounds for appeal in case this doesn't go their way. And again, we're nowhere near that yet, folks, but they absolutely, I mean, I personally believe, it is just my opinion, that Karen Reed's defense feels that Judge Bev, to put it nicely, is showing favoritism towards the prosecution in this case. I mean, it's clear. She's not even a good actor. Like, she absolutely scolds the defense every chance that she gets. She babies Lolly every chance that she gets. It's very, very bizarre to see it. And I've covered a few trials where I'm just like, man, hold on, you know, and I've seen where people are like, I don't like this judge. And I'm just like, hold on, before you go there. But I'm of the opinion that she's absolutely showing favoritism towards the prosecution. And I feel this way because I've been watching all of the pretrial hearings. And this has been going on the entire time in the pretrials. And as a matter of fact, at one point, she even joked and laughed about the fact that she ordered the prosecution to provide certain things, you know, such as discovery to the defense, and they just blew it off. And she joked about it. She joked about the fact that they blew off her orders. She laughed. I was on a panel with Turtle Boy. and Brian LTL, and I'm telling you, she laughed about it. And this was before the trial even started. So it's not my imagination. Even if my opinion is wrong, I know that I have solid reason to believe. I have solid reason to have formed this opinion that Judge Bev is absolutely showing favoritism towards the prosecution. And I'm being nice and wording it that way.
Side of the jury on just like the public court, the court of public opinion, I think that it's going to be really hard to convince the court of general public opinion that they're just not all in like cahoots working together.
Yeah, just going on, and I guess I'm biased because I am an attorney and I've done opening arguments. I actually tried a case in that courthouse. I've done a bunch of motions in the Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham. I only ever tried one case in that courthouse. It's a historic courthouse, by the way, the historic case of Sacco and Vanzetti, who were put to their death in Massachusetts for being anarchists. You know, that case was tried in that courthouse. Anyhow, where I was going with that was, as an attorney, I'm watching these arguments more to see, how they put their arguments together and what they were saying. And I've got to say that the Commonwealth's attorney was way outflanked by the very well-prepared, polished, seasoned defense attorney, David Yannetti, who I don't know. I've never had anything to do with him, but he's a well-known attorney. And I just felt that he was smoother. He was speaking to the jury. When you give an opening argument or any argument to a jury, you look them right in the eye. You talk to them because you want to convince them. And, it's not as convincing if somebody talks to you when they're looking down and slumping. And it seemed to me that the Commonwealth's attorney was doing a lot of that. He was looking down, checking his notes. He wasn't like I do. He wasn't really sure what was going on. I thought he mumbled. I mean, in that first cut,
I raised my volume. When I was listening, I raised my volume on my laptop because I was like, I can't hear him.
I didn't fiddle with the volume in the cuts and the sound cuts, and it started out it sounded like it was in the middle of a sentence. But when we edited that, we started, at the very beginning of his statement, and I felt that the Commonwealth's attorney was mumbling, and I don't think that bodes well for them. I mean, we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen in this case, but you have to remember that the Commonwealth bears the burden of proof on each and every element of the charges. One is second-degree murder, one is manslaughter, leaving the scene of a drunk driving, death. I mean, so the Commonwealth has to prove each and every element of each of the charges, and all they need is one juror to say no, and I'm not going to change my mind. And I don't know.
And I might be mistaken with this, but aren't they going to have to prove some kind of intent on her part? Because even like if it was an accident, would it still be, manslaughter?
Well, that's an interesting point, because you're right. In second-degree murder, you've got to prove that there was intent. It can just be a fleeting, a momentary thing. But in a first-degree murder case, which this isn't, there's premeditation that's required. There's malice aforethought that's involved. So obviously, they didn't charge that. They charged second-degree murder, which is a lower level of intent. But yes, you're absolutely right. It is an intentional crime. And I say it's an interesting thing that you point that out, because initially the charges against Karen Reed were motor vehicle homicide. negligent homicide, because the story was that she went out and she drank excessively. She had 6 drinks and a shot at the first bar. Then she went to the second bar. We don't know how much she had there. So the initial charge was drunk driving and motor vehicle homicide. They'll still get you 4 or 5 years behind bars. So those were the initial charges, and Karen Reed was arraigned in the district court. Okay, so things are riding along. She retains David Yannetti in Boston. Then all of a sudden, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts decides to take it to a grand jury, and they get an indictment on that second-degree murder charge you're talking about. Now you're talking about more serious time. And so she's staying up nights, on her laptop thinking, and she finds out about Alan Jackson, the attorney in Los Angeles, a famous attorney who has had some famous clients in Los Angeles, Hollywood people, and he's been very successful. And she says, if the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is going to ratchet this up, so am I. So that's when she brought in a second attorney who we didn't see in today's episode, but we'll see him in future episodes.
Again, I love when lawyers validate my shit. I said the same thing. If I'm Karen Reed, dude, what am I doing? Okay, I'm going up against the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm going up against a fucking state, dude. You know what I mean? I'm going up against what there seems to be corruption going all the way up to the Norfolk County DA's office. I'm going to hire the best lawyers that I can get. I'm going to get the most high-profile, badass defense attorneys that I can afford. Even if I can't afford them, I'm going to figure it out. But I'm going to do what I got to do, which some would argue makes her look more guilty. Not me. What have I said 1,000,000 times, folks? Guilty or innocent, you better believe if I have the means to hire the best fucking attorneys, I'm going to hire them. Because who knows? I mean, the thing is that at the end of the day, the prosecution wants a win. The assistant DA is looking to up his win record, his or her win record. The assistant DA is looking to get get all that media coverage, and they want that win. So regardless of whether or not you're guilty or innocent, there is that element. We could sit here all day and talk about how they want, we could sit here all day. We could talk about how they're supposed to uphold justice and they took an oath and so on and so forth. Yeah. But these are lawyers we're talking about, folks. You know what I mean? Like, they have a career to think about. These assistant DAs, these district attorneys, they all have political aspirations, or at least it's safe to assume that they do. So they're going to want that win. You know what I mean? They're going to want that win. The only thing is, it's bizarre to see Michael Morrissey so goddamn obvious about it. It's bizarre to see Lolly so obvious about it, because he almost seems reluctant. He's not showing any confidence in this courtroom at all. He hasn't yet. Lolly has not shown any confidence at all, which makes me wonder, does he even believe in what he's doing? Well, no, I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I think he absolutely knows that he has no case, because he still has yet to even build a foundation for his case. He has yet to build any foundation at all to convince that jury that Karen Reed is guilty. I mean, why would you put these people on the stand? These are his own witnesses. First of all, he puts John O'Keefe's brother, Paul, and John O'Keefe's sister-in-law, Paul's wife, Erin, on the stand, and they say nothing negative about Karen. Nothing at all. They didn't say anything that was damning to make the jury think that Karen wanted to kill John. Nothing at all. Then they bring up all of these first responders, and they all have conflicting testimonies. All of them seem to have conflicting testimonies. Wouldn't you prep these people before you put them on the stand? Because I think that he did. I'm of the opinion that he did prep them. He just did it terribly. I think Lolly is just simply a bad lawyer. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't really get to say who's a bad lawyer and who isn't. But if I'm comparing him to other lawyers that I've seen, if I'm comparing him to other prosecutors that I've seen, he's the worst
out of all of them that I've ever seen. So am I qualified to say that he's a bad lawyer? Probably not. But I feel that I'm qualified enough based on my own experience of following trials that he seems to be the worst at his job than any other prosecutor in any other trial that I've ever covered, that I've ever seen. I just don't. I'm at a loss as to, I'm trying to figure out if he's got some sort of strategy here, but I'm not seeing it.
So yeah, it's an interesting question that you raise. Yeah, there's a level. It's not first degree, but there is in fact a level of intent, and so that's why the prosecutors have to scratch their heads and say, to prove intent, we're going to have to show that Karen Reed or we're going to show, this is their choice, they're going to have to show that John O'Keefe and Karen Reed were having problems. Now, they had gone to Aruba, I guess about a month before this happened, and in Aruba they fought, and Karen caught John kissing another woman. And when we say kissing, I think we're talking not about a peck of the cheek like you might give your aunt or something like that. I think it was a little bit more than that. And so Karen saw him doing that. And the prosecution apparently is also going to bring up that Karen was exploring her options, and she had dated a guy, an FBI guy. Didn't go anywhere, but at least she was exploring her options. She saw John in this kiss. They're also going to bring out testimony that the two of them argued a lot. In fact, one of the witnesses, one of the earlier.
Now, I don't know if he brings it up later because I haven't actually watched this in its entirety at all, but it's important to know that this person is Brian Higgins, this FBI agent, or he's not an FBI agent, he's an ATF agent. And it's important to know that he that this also gives him motive. It doesn't give Karen motive, it gives him motive, especially considering the fact that he, according to the defense, he saw Karen Reed walk into the bar, and she doesn't acknowledge him. And then when he sees that she doesn't acknowledge him, he sends her a text saying, hello, or something to that effect. Or, and I think that was it. Whatever the fuck that means. It's some vague small dick energy bullshit. And then then after the fact, once he's at 34 Fairview, he texts John O'Keefe, allegedly coaxing him to come over to the house, even though they're not friends. Why is he so interested in John O'Keefe coming over to that house? If he has this interest in John O'Keefe's girlfriend, why is he so interested? Does he think, okay, well, he's going to bring her? But why wouldn't he text her? Why wouldn't he say, hey, why are you coming over to the house later? Are you coming over to Brian's and Nicole's? He doesn't do that. He texts John, not Karen. He texts John. Why would he text John?
Witnesses O'Keefe's brother and sister-in-law actually did testify that they heard the two of them fighting. So, how do you prove intent when a person is in a car and backs into someone else? I mean, you can't get into somebody's head. You don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. But in a situation like this, more importantly, you don't know what she was thinking. I think she was thinking, I had all those drinks. I got to get home right away.
I was going to say the only intent, and it sucks because I think also from the jury's perspective, I think how are you going to prove intent when this woman finds the body and she's screaming, crying, and going to the body? But furthermore, the only way that you're going to prove, I feel, intent with this, especially with how bent up his arm is and everything, is taking the car, checking the car's data, and saying that the car went back and forth repeatedly. Because if she's been drinking, back up, something happens. Unless you're intentionally running that person.
Fun fact about that data. Let's hear what she has to say about that again.
I was going to say the only intent, and it sucks because I think also from the jury's perspective, I think how are you going to prove intent when this woman finds the body and she's screaming, crying, and going to the body? But furthermore, the only way that you're going to prove, I feel, intent with this, especially with how bent up his arm is and everything, is taking the car, checking the car's data, and saying that the car went back and forth repeatedly. Because if she's been drinking, back up, something happens. Unless you're intentionally running that person over, I don't really know if there's any way that they could prove that it was done intentionally.
Right. They can't, because It didn't even happen. So another thing that they're failing to mention, probably because they just simply don't know yet. Again, these are attorneys who are forming their opinions based on what I'm gathering as they saw the opening statements and so forth. They started paying attention after the jury selection took place, and that's understandable. That's fine. A lot of people have done this, and then it's, you know, the circumstances of this case are going to pique people's interest. Now, the whole thing though is they're not sitting here saying one way or the other. That's why I'm not picking on them, and I picked on True Crime Rocket Science, because True Crime Rocket Science decided to form an opinion without fucking doing any research on it whatsoever. So True Crime Rocket Science is still a fucking moron as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, now this being the issue here where she's talking about the data from the Lexus, right? And that's the only way that they could prove intent. And even still, you can't really prove intent that way necessarily. But because I don't really see how intent could really be proven that way. But the thing is, though, what they don't realize and what they probably just simply don't know yet is that that Michael Proctor sat on the stand during the grand jury and testified in front of the grand jury that the expert, the data expert, the person that they recruited who handles this data from the Lexus, said in an official report that no data could be retrieved, which I find to be bullshit. I think there was data retrieved. There was no indication that she actually ran anyone over. I don't think that it picked up anything. So they don't want to admit that. But I am of the opinion that, well, beyond that, the fact is that Proctor stated that this person had provided this report as if that's proof. And that this data expert says in the very same report and with the same breath in this report says that no data could be retrieved, even though this is where his area of expertise is. No data from the Lexus could be retrieved, but it is his opinion that John O'Keefe is the victim of vehicular homicide. How could John O'Keefe be the victim of vehicular homicide? How could this data expert draw that conclusion when no data could be retrieved for him to be able to evaluate and draw this conclusion from? It can't be done. It's impossible. It doesn't take an attorney to come to this conclusion. It doesn't take a data expert to come to this conclusion. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to come to this conclusion. Okay? The fact of the matter is that this dude in his official report, the official report that Michael Proctor so arrogantly presented to a grand jury as evidence, says no data could be retrieved, yet it is his expert opinion that John O'Keefe was the victim of vehicular homicide. How? How? How could he have drawn that conclusion?
You numbered, if you're back, unless he's hitting him straight forward, which isn't the allegation, it was a bumper light. Right. That's the problem. It's just like, you're not intentionally running someone over at that point, unless, like, really, how fast are you backing up? Like, I can't imagine that you're backing up 20 plus miles an hour in a snowstorm.
Well, yeah, and that's the other issue that I think David Iannetti had brought up in his opening argument was, I mean, this was a big guy, he was 6'3", and weighed a lot. But also the vehicle is a large Lexus SUV that's said to weigh 6,000 pounds. I mean, so, I mean, it's hard.
I think John was only 6 feet, not 6'3". He was only 6 foot, right? Not even 6'1", right? If I'm remembering correctly.
To prove intent. That's why they're going back and bringing up these kissing the other woman, the arguments, and that kind of stuff. So then the question becomes, you know, a lot of couples argue. Couples don't, but a lot of couples argue.
Okay, 6'2". Thank you, guys.
Does that mean they want to kill each other? Sometimes it does, as we know from these true crime cases. But a lot of
6'2", and he wore a size 11 shoe. Okay.
argue, and it means nothing really. I have some friends that I've known for 30 years, and they argue all the time, but they're still together. So anyhow, I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts before we head out? You know what? I'll save my 2 theories of the case for another episode.
You guys have to let us know that you need to hear it. I mean, I agree with, on my closing thoughts, I agree with you in that, you know, how many people get cheated on and how many people kill their partner because of that. It's going to be very hard to prove intent on that. This whole thing is, I feel like, going to be messy. And I think that, you know, depending on what happens, I think a lot of people, I think no matter what happens, you're going to see a lot of people upset. But that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. What do you think about our new setup? We're doing a new setup. We're getting into season 2 of our podcast. And let us know what you guys think down in the comments.
I'm surprised the dog outside the window here hasn't started barking, but that'll happen soon.
You'll see it one day.
The last time we did an episode on this case, tempers really flared. People have strong feelings. I've never met anyone that was like, oh, I don't know. People have strong feelings on both sides. So please comment. Please let us know what you think. Please let us know how you feel. Please like and subscribe. But be kind, be respectful, whether you're in the grocery store, or the gas station, or in our comment section. Try not to personalize it. I've been an attorney for 30 years. You don't need to hear. If you're an attorney, how can you believe this or that? Because if you put 2 attorneys in a room, you're going to get 2 different opinions, and they're probably going to be very strong opinions. So be kind, be polite, be respectful, and be sure to join and subscribe.
Okay. Let's do this real quick. Let me do this. It's just take a second, folks. Because you know what we're doing here is it's all about educating good folks, right? That's what we're trying to do. Let me I'm going to give them a like real quick, and I'm going to say, love your coverage. Here is everything available on this case. And there we go. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. And real quick, let me guys, do me a favor and give them a like and subscribe to their channel, because I'm looking forward to seeing more of their coverage. So I dropped the link to their live stream in the chat here. So let me and guys, I'm just winging it, man. We're just hanging out Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna end up going to the gym eventually, but I figured I'd hang out with you guys first. And so what I want to do, I mean, people, this is just very fascinating to me. I want to know I want to go over some of the Twitter stuff, actually. I gotta tell you, Mazza Media, going back to the Coffindaffer stuff, Mazza Media is doing great, by the way. I absolutely love Mazza Media on Twitter, and his YouTube channel is pretty great too. I've only caught one of his live streams, but he's doing great, and I love him as a co-host on the Young Jerks. But I mean, he's posting picture after picture here. And before I get into the where is that picture? Oh my God, it's killing me right now. Maybe it's in the comments here. Because I don't think anybody else is gonna really find it as funny as I did, but Mazza Media like pointed this out, and I lost my here it is. Here it is. Hold on. This picture right here, this meme right here, fucking killed me, dude. When I saw this picture, because I mean, based on like my intros, I like to play old retro, nostalgic 80s TV commercials and stuff like that. You'll notice a lot of my t-shirts are very nostalgic. And so him comparing Jennifer Coffindaffer running away to Skeletor running away, I lost my shit. I was at the gym. I'm not even lying, dude. This is not even an exaggeration. I was at the gym and I fucking keeled over. Like I bent over laughing hysterically. Like it caught me completely off guard. And like everyone who wasn't wearing headphones at the gym looked at me like I was a fucking maniac because I was dying laughing. I was dying laughing. I mean, everyone just fucking looked at me like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just mind your own business. Get back to your workout. Till next time. Oh my god, dude. But Mazda Media did a great job also of pointing out. I mean, he's just been posting pic after pic after pic of these groups of friends. I mean, dude, this is not. I mean, take a look. This is a collage. It's a minute long, people. Let me mute that because well, I don't want a copyright claim, but I mean, this is pictures that have surfaced of Caitlin Albert and Katie McLaughlin being, just acquainted. They don't know each other and blah, blah, blah. They're just acquainted, right?
Got few friends, rest of them.
There we go. Mute that. I mean, they look like homies to me, dude. I mean, what is it going to take? And the jury, I mean, this wasn't even, the defense didn't even present half these pictures. It goes on and on and on. This video is a minute long. Dude, they're in a hot tub, for fuck's sake. They're in a fucking hot tub. Look at this shit. That's what, prom or homecoming or some shit? Now, some of these pictures are the same, but I mean, you get the idea, folks. Like, you get the idea. This girl was straight up lying on the stand. And for some reason, Judge Bev thought that the jury shouldn't see this, which is mind-blowing to me. Oh, no, it played twice, which is what happened. Okay. I mean, people, like, I don't understand what it's going to take here. And we suspected that hold on a second. Sorry. Oh, man. And then there's Grant stuff. Oh, God.
Sorry, I'm just looking at more stuff to go over here. Because shit is just amazing. This case is a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. Hold on. Where's, damn it, he's reposting stuff. I mean, why would, I don't understand why Coffindaffer would think this is a good idea. Like, I don't understand. I'm blown away by why she thinks that this is a good idea. I don't understand. People, it's only been a week. It's only been a week. It's only been a week of trial and testimony. Out of what, 7 expected? I mean, where are we at here? Except exactly where we expected to be. Because I'm not surprised. Make no mistake. Regardless of my demeanor in talking about Judge Bev and her not letting the jury see those pictures, am I surprised by it? Not at all. Not at all. I think that Judge Bev is absolutely, like I said, showing absolute favoritism towards this prosecution. And I think it's dirty and I think it's disgusting. And I think that she needs to start like reevaluating her decision making here. And I know nobody wants to hear this shit from some fucking jackass YouTuber with a foul mouth. I get it, you know, but I mean, Judge Bev, you're fucking up. Because this is all, it's not my career that's going to get fucked up here. I'm not the one who went to law school for all those years and had a career as an attorney just to end up a judge and just to seemingly systematically flush it all down the toilet with one trial. I mean, that's not me. That's you. I don't understand what the basis of your decision making here is, because the only logical thing that I can conclude here is that if we're suspecting that there's corruption in the Norfolk County DA's office, and we know that you refused to recuse yourself from this case after it had been made very, very public that you represented Chris Albert, or sorry, your brother represented Chris Albert in a vehicular manslaughter case, coincidentally, many years ago. And then you're showing all this bias towards the district attorney. Now, I would understand. I could see that not being an issue and being like, okay, well, that was so many years ago. I still wouldn't like it, but I'd be like, okay, well, she seems to be trying the case fairly. Okay, but the problem is that we have that on top of the fact that you don't seem to be trying the case fairly. If you were trying the case fairly, I would be up here defending you and being like, man, you know, it's a small town. I'm not seeing anything too suspicious about it. We'll know if she's, you know, showing too much favoritism towards the prosecution, but she clearly is. Judge Bev, you clearly are. I mean, what do you expect us to think here? And this is early on. This is early on. Who knows what type of exculpatory evidence the defense plans on showing that Judge Bev is not going to let the jury see. I mean, this is just crazy to me. Yeah, I that's where I'm at, man. Because as much as I like Vinny, as far as how he's
handling this case. I don't like court TV, man. And I know that some people are going to be, oh man, don't do that. There's some people that have recently started following my channel, but and they don't want to hear that. But I mean, sorry guys, I don't mince my words here. And the fact is I question every decision that Court TV has made with literally every true crime case that has been high profile this entire time. I have to question them. I have to question them. Dude, you brought Plevin on and played his fucking, you brought Plevin on and you played his recreation of what he thought happened, which is great. The more people with common sense that see that shit and understand the injuries that John O'Keefe sustained versus the injuries that he didn't sustain, when we're talking about what the person on trial is being accused of doing, I mean, I'm glad people see Plevin's recreation because it shows that is really the only possible way. That's the irony of Plevin's. I mean, think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Let's explore that. Let's explore it. Oh, wait. Before we do that, folks.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Tag Davitt, thank you so much. Morrissey's wife was Judge Bev's mom's boss for 20 years in Quincy Public Schools until 2026. Wow. It's only 2024 though, Dag Nabbit. I had to read that twice just to make sure, but yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. But I think I know what you mean. But it is only 2024. I make stupid mistakes like that all the time. Sorry, 2026. Or sorry, 2016. Thank you. Yeah, I do that shit all the time. Don't worry. So yeah. Now we have to explore. We have to. We have no choice but to do this again. Because it can't be ignored. It just can't be ignored. But I've never discussed it in this fashion. Let me do this here. Peggy gifted 20 memberships. Oh my goodness, Peggy. Thank you so much. And congrats to all of you with new memberships. Right on. Thank you so much, Peggy. That was so nice. Now we have to go over this, folks, because now, of course, we need our favorite music for this. One more time. Okay. Now, the thing about that video, well, you have to understand, the thing about this video is that considering the injuries that John O'Keefe sustained and considering the injuries that he did not sustain, that is really, shockingly enough, the only explainable way that he could have been hit by Karen Reed's SUV. It really is. I know people don't want to hear that shit, but that's the only logical way. So thank you, Plevin, for making this asinine video. But the reason why I'm thanking you is because it absolutely shows how ridiculous the prosecution's argument is. It absolutely shows that doesn't fucking happen. Okay? Nobody bends over. I mean, he left a cocktail glass in the road and was like, oh, there's a car fucking hauling ass in reverse my way. Let me grab my drink. That doesn't happen, dude. Okay? So thank you, Plevin, for making this, because it illustrates, and I mean illustrates in detail, I mean, in 3D recreation, absolutely illustrates how this is fucking impossible. I mean, wow. Dear sweet baby Jesus, please let the prosecution present this video as evidence and let the jury see it. Please, please, dear sweet baby Jesus. Amen. I hope to God that happens. I really, truly do. I really, truly do. Because that shit is just fucking gold. Oh my God. Now, hold on. Somebody told me something here. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, so a little bit more insight here from Turtle Boy. Okay. A little bit more context from Turtle Boy here. Because he just posted this 7 minutes ago. We saw this picture in Mazamedia's collage. But here is this picture. Now, Turtle Boy adds some insight here in his post. And it says right here, another picture emerged today showing Katie McLaughlin visiting Caitlin Albert at her Bridgewater State apartment 4 years after graduating high school. I don't know about you, but 4 years after high school, the only people I'd consider visiting at their college apartments were close friends, not acquaintances. Yeah, an acquaintance is not coming over to my house 4 years after high school. Oh, well, we knew each other in high school. Dude, first of all, you were on the same cross-country team in high school. Okay? That's more than acquaintances. Okay, you're teammates. Okay? Maybe not friends. I'll give you that. But you're teammates. You're friends on that field. You're friends at gatherings that take place that are cross-country team related. But this picture takes place 4 years after high school, 4 years after where you said you knew her from, where Katie says she knew Caitlin Albert from. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What? Killing me. I love it.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super.
Yes. Susan M, thank you so much. Justice for both Karen and Sandra. Yes, and John, of course. We need justice for John. Now, but I know what you mean. And Sandra, the Sandra that you're referring to would be Sandra Birchmore. And there will be more on this channel about that. I will discuss that a bit more. Now, this doesn't end here, folks. Okay, some people are wondering, well, what happens after the trial? What happens after Karen Read is exonerated? What happens? Well, I'm not done. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not done. Like, I'm here for, I'm here for justice. Period. I am here for justice. I am here to see justice served. And justice is not served just by Karen Read being exonerated. That is a prelude to actual justice. It is merely a prelude. It is justice for Karen, but it is not justice for John. It's a prelude to justice for John. But the fact is the people who are responsible for John's murder need to be held accountable. I'm not stopping until that happens. The people who I believe are responsible for Sandra Birchmore's murder, because I do believe she was murdered and she did not commit suicide, I do believe that those people still need to be brought to justice. And I do believe that some of the very same people who are responsible for covering up John O'Keefe's murder, some of those very same people are responsible for covering up Sandra Birchmore's murder. I am not going to stop until this happens. That is my word. I'm not done. This does not stop with Karen Read being acquitted. This does not stop with Karen Read walking out of that courtroom a free woman. That's just the beginning. So I'm not going to stop until I'm screaming to the rooftops that these people need to be held accountable. That's what we need. We need federal indictments to come down. That's absolutely what we need. And I think that this is happening. I do believe that these federal indictments are coming. I don't think that Josh Levy's office is doing this in vain. I don't think that their investigation is not ongoing. I believe it's absolutely ongoing. I think that we're just seeing certain parts of their investigation that they feel is, because you got to understand Josh Levy's position. Josh Levy's position, to the best of my understanding, at least my uneducated interpretation of Josh Levy's position, is that he is trying to conduct a thorough investigation, keep it close to the chest, but at the same time, give Karen Read's defense what they can without fucking up their investigation, giving them what they can in order to make sure that an innocent woman is not found guilty and put in prison for something she didn't do. So I do believe that Josh Levy is it's a very delicate balancing act what he's doing right now. Because he can't just blow his entire investigation, because we don't want to be in a position to where we choose, okay, well, either Karen Read goes free or the people that are held that are responsible and accountable for covering this up aren't held accountable and responsible. We don't want that. We want Josh Levy to be able to conduct his investigation, but we also want Karen Read to be found not guilty. And so I think that they're sharing what they can with Karen Read's defense. I think that they're sharing what they can. But I believe that there is a lot more to it. We know for a fact that there's a lot more to it, because we haven't heard 3,100 pages of documents worth of evidence being presented to Judge Bev in these pretrial hearings and during their opening statements. We have not heard that yet. So I think that there's plenty, and that's just their investigation's findings so far. And it is sealed. The 3,100 page document, all of those gigabytes of information, of data, that stuff is all still sealed. And it should be, because I don't want the investigation. I'm not one of these people who feel like, oh, well, I have a right to this information. I'm not, I don't have a right to it. I don't have a right to it. Anybody who thinks that you're entitled to this information in an ongoing investigation, federal one for that matter, you're sorely mistaken. Just because you are a journalist does not mean that you are entitled to this to this information.
You're entitled to shit.
You are entitled to absolutely that. Thank you, Gandolfini. I want justice, and I'm going to leave it up to the professionals to provide that justice and to do what they need to do to reach justice. I'm not the professional, they are, and in it, I know that's a hard thing to deal with, because we're dealing with corruption already. So it's hard to say, hey, I trust the people who are tasked with the responsibility of getting justice to do their job. It's difficult. It's difficult to say when we're dealing with corruption, when the people who were tasked with the responsibility of getting John O'Keefe justice failed and did so nefariously and negligently. So that bothers the hell out of me. But the thing is I feel better knowing that there's federal intervention now. And I have to trust that federal intervention. I don't have a choice but to trust this federal intervention. I have no choice but to trust that process. It's all we got, folks. It's all we got. Short of vigilante justice, which isn't going to happen, we have to trust the federal investigation. That's all we've got. There's nothing else that we can do about this. Where our hands are tied. So I absolutely trust this. Okay. Why is there a JLR investigates that's not JLR investigates in my chat? Why is John Atalia in my chat going, she gave it all she got? Why is this uncircumcised canine penis in my chat cheering on Karen Reed? Makes no sense. Well, I mean, for a troll, he's got 687 subscribers. So I don't know. Oh, yeah, it is a troll. It's absolutely a troll. I see. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Just checking. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Now let me see real quick here. Guys, I'm just winging it.
Her going by the house, in this whole narrative that I believe they're trying to develop.
Okay. Now, I actually think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I just saw that Sleuthy Goosey is on a panel right now. I'll go ahead and share the
Drives
link
around Canton for some perceptible
you guys go
half
and
hour or
raid
so
that
period of
panel right
time
now. It's
prior to even
Criminality
getting to Mr. Caves.
TV, I think
And
it's
when I
called.
submit the evidence, or what I anticipate the evidence will show.
So I hear Sleuthy Goosey talking here. Here's the link to that. Jack W, welcome to Logic. Thank you so much, buddy. I think it's called, yeah, criminality. To play on words. Criminality. I read it wrong. Criminality. Criminally. Thank you. That's how I'm reading that. So, guys, make sure to head on over there. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. You guys are fucking fantastic. Seriously, man, it really means a lot. I was more than thrilled to be able to spend my Sunday afternoon with you guys, going over some of the stuff that everyone's talking about. I was thinking about doing a live late last night, and then I was like, nah, I'm too tired. And I wanted to hang out with somebody who I haven't been hanging out with quite enough. So I'm glad I did that. And so tonight I'm definitely going to the gym, but I will be streaming the trial as always tomorrow. A lot of people are going to be streaming this trial, folks. I want to go ahead and piggyback off of what Larry from the DUI guy said yesterday on his live stream, which is something that I have been saying. I don't want any of you guys to feel like you're being disloyal to someone because you're watching the trial on one channel and neglecting another channel. Don't feel that way at all. If you feel like you're going to get more insight from a channel that is run by an attorney who, I wouldn't blame you. If I wasn't streaming live, I would be watching one of those channels myself. But I'm invested in this and I'm watching the trial, and I'm a YouTuber, so I might as well stream it. And I promised long before this trial started that if there was a trial, I would be streaming it. And so I am just merely making good on my promise. And I'm going to continue streaming it until the trial is over. I am not going to be upset if there are 10 people in my chat. Not at all whatsoever. So I'm not upset with anybody if you feel like you would prefer to watch that on someone else's channel and support them. No problem at all whatsoever. This is not a competition, folks. I believe that these other channels that you're conflicted in as far as watching this trial on, I believe we're all on the same team. I believe we're all just interested in trying to get to justice. So no hard feelings at all. None at all. I am merely grateful to those who choose to watch it here. That's the only feeling that I have about it is gratitude, and that is absolutely genuine. The only feeling that I have towards anyone in this situation when it comes to other channels streaming this trial is gratitude to those who watch the trial here. And that's it. No hard feelings at all whatsoever. This is not a competition. As a matter of fact, I look forward to watching the summaries from these attorneys who run other channels. I want to know their insight. I am so interested in what's going on here and understanding it better that I'm going to want to hear from attorney Melanie Little. I'm going to want to hear from DUI guy. I'm going to want to hear from Runkle. I'm going to want to hear from all of these different creators who have YouTube channels, who have practiced law. And I'm hoping that more of them even start talking about this case if they haven't been. This case should get their attention. This case should absolutely get their attention because it's going to raise questions. And as we predicted, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And this trial is proving to be one of those trials where we're going to see things that we've never seen before. So I'm interested in those reactions from those other channels and those other creators who have experience in courtrooms and trying cases. I am just as interested as you guys. So again, no hard feelings at all whatsoever. I am just merely grateful to those of you who choose to watch it here. Seriously, I can't even express that enough. To have all of the support that I have from Tom CPU, Paul Cristoforo, Dana, Tracy, all of those people who are out there protesting outside of that courthouse every single day, and I'm their go-to, that is more than I could ever have imagined. That is beyond an honor. So I've never been a part of a community that I've ever been more proud of. I've never covered a case that I've felt more passionate about. And it's because of the community that has welcomed me into its arms. That, again, the only feeling that I have is gratitude about this. So I'm just grateful to you guys for even watching and taking an interest in what my uneducated mouth spews out. So I haven't figured it out yet. Again, I'm just grateful for it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And many of you I will see tomorrow, and I look forward to it. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for liking. I hit the like for me on your way out. It's free. Subscribing is also free. Those of you who are new subscribers, you mean the world to me, just as much as all of you older subscribers that have been around the channel for a long time. The more the merrier for this community. I am very proud of this community that I've built and grown and seen grow. And I'm, again, absolutely grateful for it. So, and all of the support too. You guys are amazing with that. Crazy. You guys are great. So thank you guys very much. I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. And guys, I love you very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friend.